Back in 2016, in January to be specific, just 1 month after my son was born, I got this crazy idea that I wanted to leave my 9 to 5. And just 8 months later, I did that. And here I am in 2021 at the time of recording this video, and my entire life has changed. But it all started with my road from 9 to 5 to six-figure entrepreneur in just 1 year. So today I'm comfortably sitting on my couch and I want to talk to you about what I did. How did I actually leave my 9 to 5 and build this scalable business? Hi, and welcome to the Brand Mary channel. My name is Michelle Knight. I'm the founder and CEO of BrandMary.com, and welcome back. Or if you're new, maybe you just discovered this channel because of this video, I'm so excited that you are here. This is a little different format than my other videos where I do a very kind of mini training setup. But today I really wanted to talk to you very candidly about what it was like to grow my business to six figures in just 1 year of leaving my 9 to 5. And before I get into that, I need to give you a little backstory, a little setup here. So we're heading back all the way to 2016 when my son was just 1 month old and I decided that I wanted to leave my 9 to 5. I didn't have experience being an entrepreneur. I didn't even know at the time what I wanted to focus on building my business around. But I had started to discover what was possible online through social media and people I'd gone to college with suddenly posting about the businesses that they had created. So I went into it a little bit rosy-eyed, right? Thinking that I was going to be an overnight success. Well, 8 months later, after doing all of the things, I hadn't made any money in my business. But I'm incredibly thankful for those first 8 months because they taught me what I am about to share with you today. Once I implemented the pieces that I'm sharing with you today and continued to work on those and refine those and scale those over the years, I did hit six figures in 1 year and have consistently had a six-figure business since then. I ended up leaving my 9 to 5 in September of 2016 and in the same month signed my first client. Now, I'm going to be 100% transparent with you. In no way was I an overnight success. I had to work really, really hard those 8 months before leaving my 9 to 5 to have a solid business foundation. But I did take a leap of faith. And for some of you watching this, you're going to be like, absolutely not. There is no way that I'm doing that. And that is absolutely fine. The strategies I'm going to share with you are going to support you while you are building your business and working a 9 to 5 and putting money in savings and having those clients and stuff coming in before you decide to leave. But some of you are also watching this and you're like, this kind of sounds like fun. Maybe I could take a leap of faith. And this video is for you as well. So when I ultimately decided to leave my 9 to 5 before having income in my business, we definitely took a lot of risks. We decided to just live off of my husband's income the best that we could for a few months. Any money that came into the business did not go back into the business. We were using it to buy groceries and do those different things. And I'm not going to lie, those first 3 months were incredibly difficult. But I'm thankful for them. And they got me home quicker to be with my son and to go all in on building this business. So let's kick it off. Let's start with the number one thing that I absolutely think you need in order to go from 9 to 5 to a six-figure entrepreneur, and that is determination. Whether you decide to leave your 9 to 5 with an entire savings account and 6 months of salary in the bank, or you decide to just go for it and hope it all works out, you need determination. You are going to hit roadblocks every single step of the way. And it's so incredibly important to remind yourself why you're doing this in the first place. And if I'm being honest with you, it has to be a lot deeper than I just want to make money. It has to be driven by an emotional feeling. For me, it was to be home with my son. I didn't realize that I actually wanted to be home with him. I had all intentions of going back to work when I was on maternity leave. But I had this feeling, this fire that I needed to be home with him, that I wanted to experience those first few years with him. And I also had always thought about working for myself, and it felt like no better time. So I was emotionally invested in this business. And as a result of that emotional investment and the determination, I really optimized my time so that I could build these crucial pieces. And I'm going to share those pieces with you, of course, but it doesn't matter if you have the pieces and you know what to do. If you aren't dedicating specific time to work on your business, especially while you are working a 9 to 5, you're going to have a really hard time growing. So when I was building those first few months of my business, building my website, planning out my offers, doing my marketing, I was still working my 9 to 5. And so I was utilizing every little pocket of time that I could find. I'd wake up early in the morning and I would do some work. I would listen to trainings and I would record emails and social media posts driving to and from work every day. I used my lunchtime to watch webinars, to learn, to participate in a group program and attend calls. And I would use my evenings after my son went to bed, late into the evening, to also work on my business. I'm thankful that I did that because today I have a business that allows me to travel to Greece for 3 months and live in different parts of the country. But at the time, that was what was required of me. So if you take one thing away from this video, I want you to know that it's 100% possible for you. But you've got to be determined and dedicated to putting in the time and the energy, and yes, sometimes money, into building your business. Once you have become emotionally invested into the success of your business, you can see it and you're dedicated. You're dedicated to the highs and the lows, the ups and the downs, the failures and the wins. It is time to test your resilience and build your brand. Now, when I'm talking about building your brand, I'm not talking about your logo. I'm not talking about the aesthetics. I'm not even really talking about your website. That's what I thought branding was. That's why I wasted 8 months not signing a client. I know better, I do better, and now I actually teach entrepreneurs how to do branding the right way. I have an entire class on building a better brand, which you can watch at betterbrandmethod.com. We put the link in the description below. But this first stage is incredibly important because it's going to build the foundation for your business moving forward. This is the stage when you identify your niche. This is when you start to decide who your ideal customer is. Who do you ultimately want to work with? This is when you start to fine-tune and practice your communication skills, creating brand messaging and figuring out how you're going to introduce yourself into the world and the topics that you want to talk about as an extension of your brand. It's also where you map out your offer. Now, this is incredibly important because if you're planning on leaving your 9 to 5 and making money pretty quickly, you need to have something to sell. And you want to make sure that your marketing efforts, how you're showing up, is leading people directly to the sale. Another piece of advice that I have as it relates to your offer that I didn't learn until much, much later is to focus on one thing. You're going to have a much easier time focusing on selling one core service rather than a bunch of different ones that you have to, figure out how to share an email and social media and all the different things. It's going to be really overwhelming and confusing. It's just easier to focus in on one core offer and drive all of your energy and attention to that. And those are some of the core pieces of building a brand. Again, I go into way more detail inside of my free class on building a better brand method, but it's so important that you take the time to do this because this is going to set the solid foundation for your business. I often say that you want to think of your business as like a building and you're going to add floors and stories to it. You're going to want to keep scaling up and go higher and higher and higher. And if you don't have that solid foundation, which is your brand, your building isn't going to scale. It's going to fall over and you're going to eventually realize that, oh no, I have to go back to ground zero. And building your brand doesn't have to take a ton of time. There are very, very strategic ways to do it, but it is going to save you so much time, so many headaches, and a lot of pain when you move into the marketing phase, which is where you ultimately bring in and attract your ideal customer. That leads me to marketing. Over here at Brand Mary, we focus on two things, branding and marketing, because I recognized really early on that once you have a solid brand, once you know who you are, who you want to work with, what you're ultimately going to offer, how you're going to make a difference in their lives by solving this problem, You have to let people know. You have to market. You have to put this information out in front of your ideal customer. And so one of the things that I recommend as you're building your business is get very strategic and focused on how you're going to market your business. What I mean by that is don't try and do everything. There are a million options when it comes to marketing. You can show up on Facebook, you can show up on Instagram, you could use Pinterest, you could use blogging, you can do YouTube, you can be on TikTok, you can use Clubhouse, you can use LinkedIn. Oh, the list goes on and on. Again, in the beginning, you have a small amount of time while you're working your 9 to 5 and growing your business. If you've got kids, that's a whole nother level of time management that you have to deal with. The more focused you are, the more success you are going to experience. So when you're starting out, think very strategically about where your ideal customer is and how you can get in front of them. And then use that to plan out a very strategic marketing plan. Now, I talk about repurposing in this video right here. And repurposing is something that I accidentally did when I was building my business and working a 9 to 5 because I recognized I didn't have a lot of time. And I really needed to use the time that I had efficiently. And when it came to content creation, I needed to be very strategic with the amount of content that I was writing and how I was ultimately getting it out in front of my audience. So if you have a short amount of time, which many of you watching this probably do, repurposing is something you want to embrace really early on. So make sure you check out that video to learn how you can take a piece of content and push it out to various different platforms in front of your ideal customer without taking so much time and energy away from you. So at this stage, you want to determine where you're going to be marketing your business specifically, how often you're going to be showing up, and that does take some education on what's best for that platform. This is something that we teach inside of my program, Brand Mary Academy, where we teach you how to market your business, specifically off of social media. And then you also want to create a solid workflow, as I mentioned in this repurposing video, on how you're going to actually execute that every single week. And then it's about repetition and consistency. And over time, you're going to see that you're getting faster and faster, and maybe you can add another platform. And your planning is going really, really well. And maybe you can go from planning 30 days of content to 60 to 90 days of content. And there's power in that repetition and that consistency when it comes to marketing. So again, we've got the focus, we've got the determination and the desire to do it. We've got the solid brand foundation, clarity, crystal clear clarity on who you are, your niche, the problem that you solve, who you solve it for, and how you ultimately solve that problem. That's your brand foundation. And then from there, you can start marketing. Now, you might be sitting there and like, but Michelle, you didn't talk to me about my logo, and you didn't talk to me about my website, and you didn't talk to me about X, Y, and Z. That's because those pieces you can create as you're going through your marketing process. But don't wait to market. This is something that I find so many entrepreneurs doing, and honestly, I did it myself, which is probably why it took me 8 months to sign my first client. The longer that you wait to put your brand out into the world, the longer it's going to take to sign a client. So as soon as you have that solid brand foundation, you feel like, okay, this is good. This is good for where it's at. I can always expand on it. I can always elevate it. Start sharing it with the world. And that leads me to my next tip, which is all about building a community. You have nothing as an online business if you don't have someone to sell to. At the end of the day, you're gonna need money to leave your 9 to 5. And so as you are starting out and marketing your business, you wanna start growing that email list and that community right away. Don't wait till you've been showing up on Instagram for 60 days or writing blog posts for 5 months to start building your email list. It doesn't take a lot when you're starting out. There are so many awesome platforms for building your email list, some of which you don't even need your website just yet. 2 of our favorites are Flowdesk and ConvertKit. I use ConvertKit over here at Brand Mary. I've put the links below for you. Both of those platforms have landing pages, which means you don't even need a website. You can just send people to a landing page where they can put their name and their email address in exchange for a free gift, which gets them onto your email list. And this is a great practice to have in place, and it's going to allow you to not only attract your ideal customer with a quality lead magnet, but then also nurture those relationships and email them about your products and your services. Do it right away, like right away. It is so, so important. And then as you fine tune your marketing, you'll add in different elements, like I said, blogging, maybe YouTube, maybe podcasting, maybe Pinterest, maybe advertising, where you can then scale up that list growth, like that list building, quicker over time. Speaking of having your lead magnet and growing your community, another thing that I recommend is having the base systems in place. This means that you have that email marketing platform, as I mentioned already. You have some sort of scheduler for your business. Now, I use Acuity, and I put the link below for you for that as well. And it's just a great way for people to schedule meetings with you, to schedule discovery calls with you or consultation calls, as well as if you're having a group program or some sort of coaching or something like that, you can give your clients the link so they can easily schedule with your availability. And this is huge, because when I was working my 9 to 5, I wanted to make it so that if I had a discovery call, it was only available in the evening and I wasn't doing it when I was at work. So having a scheduler in place is really, really important. And then you do want to invest in your website. Now, I've mentioned a few times that I don't want you to spend all of your time and energy building your website, that your website should come into the marketing phase. So once you have the brand foundation, then we move into the marketing phase, and that's when you start to build your website. You take the information that you know about your brand and you start to write amazing copy and implement SEO strategies, all of which I teach inside of Brand Mary Academy, to build a home base for your brand. So early on, you want to decide where are you going to build that website and maybe start chipping away at that process. Now, your website should not take you months. In fact, I recommend it should only take you 30 days. Set a limiter on it. Get your website set up. Bare minimum, strong copy, awesome photos of you, build that relationship, and know that you can always elevate it as you go. The thing that I really, really, really want to stress with you here is that things don't have to be perfect before you start marketing. In fact, if you keep waiting and waiting and waiting to get started, you're just postponing the income coming into your bank account, which is ultimately going to help you leave your 9 to 5. So don't spend all of your time building the most perfect website before you start showing up and sharing your brand with the world. The last thing that I have for you is to audit your progress every 30 days. Now in my business, we're focused more on 90 days because we have a lot of systems in place. It's been 5 years now since I left my 9 to 5. But that first year, almost 2 years, every 30 days, I was looking at the data. I was saying, okay, this lead magnet is working really, really well, but my emails aren't doing great. Let me fix my emails. I'm talking about this offer in this way and people seem to respond, so I'm gonna keep going with that. Every time I offer a price increase, because I was slowly scaling my prices, people are responding. Okay, I'm gonna do that. Every time I would do a challenge, and I did a challenge every single month for the first year of my business, I would sign a client. Great, let's keep running with that. But it also let me notice the areas that I drastically needed to improve. I had a website and nobody was visiting it, so I started to explore blogging. I only knew this information because I looked at the data. Every 30 days, I would audit what was happening in my business. What of my products and services were selling? How were they selling? What strategies was I using? Where were these people coming from? How could I just throw more fuel onto that fire to help it grow faster? In that first year of business, I focused primarily on one-on-one work, meaning I would work one-on-one with my clients from anywhere from 3 months to 6 months. And that was awesome because it didn't require a lot of overhead. It was just me getting on the phone, and I got to take a few clients at a time. That information and that income allowed me to then invest in advertising when I launched my very first program, Roadmap to Freedom, back in 2017. So much of your business is about auditing what is working and what is not working, making those small adjustments, and continuing to put in the work. Don't shy away from the work. Again, as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, it takes a determination to be an entrepreneur, to leave your 9 to 5, which you don't think is just like a luxury, cushy, where you get a paycheck every week, to go all in on building your business and being solely responsible for not only the business income, but also your personal income as well. And that determination is going to take work. But it's about really strategic work. It's not about just being busy to be busy and doing things to do things. It's very, very strategic. And the only way that you're going to know to make those small adjustments is by really looking at what's working and what's not working and shifting those pieces in your business. So much of your brand and your marketing strategy is going to evolve and elevate over time. That is the fun part of being an entrepreneur. But you only know what needs to shift and elevate if you actually look at the data. That's why some of those systems and those processes are so important, like ConvertKit for your email or Squarespace for your website, because they will give you the data that you need to make those decisions. Another thing that is incredibly helpful that I have done since the beginning of my business is invest in support. Even when I didn't really have the money and I had to move things around and figure it out, I was investing in some sort of coach or consultant or program to help me scale my business. It's one of the reasons I created my program, Roadmap to Freedom, why I have Brand Mary Academy to support entrepreneurs in consistently marketing their business, because I understand how important that is. So I also recommend that you have some sort of guidance, some sort of strategist, some sort of mentor or support that is going to give you the motivation and love that you need to grow your business. Most of the people that you're around don't understand what you're doing. Your spouse might not even fully understand it, although hopefully they support you. My husband definitely did. But you're going to need people that understand what you're going through, that understand what it's like to grow this business, and are there cheering you on and offering really strategic support along the way. I really hope that this video gave you a clear step-by-step on where you should be focusing your energy as you plan to leave your 9-to-5. I also hope that it gave you a little bit of motivation that you can absolutely do this, but you've got to dedicate the time and the energy to make it happen. I don't regret any of those decisions that I made in those first few years of running my business, and they really taught me how to strategically hustle, yeah, I'm gonna say that H word, so that I didn't burn out or lose energy, but I knew that I was giving it my all. If you are ready today to start building your brand, I want to invite you to watch my training, The Better Brand Method. You can go to betterbrandmethod.com to get signed up for that. And the beautiful thing about the stages of the entrepreneur process is after you've built your solid brand foundation, it's time to market. So I invite you to learn more at brandmaryacademy.com. If this video was helpful for you, hit the like button and subscribe so you don't miss any future videos, and let me know in the comments below, how excited and slightly terrified are you to go all in on this adventure? It has been the greatest shift in my entire life, and I can't wait to hear and see what happens for you.